Brothers and sisters, can we please have the congregation rise? Thank you, brothers and sisters. You may be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Christian Turley. I'm one of the funeral directors here at the mortuary. I've been asked by the Bush family to conduct these funeral services today for Gabe. Prior to our funeral services here, we had a family prayer that was given off to the side here, and that was by Tucker Bush. The prelude and postlude music has been provided by Brock Bush. And we're going to begin the opening the services today with an invocation. That's going to be given by Brad Bush. Following the opening prayer, we're going to have a live sketch. That's going to be provided by Renee. Following Renee, we're going to have a musical number provided by Brock Bush, accompanied by a piano selection.
Our dear, kind, and Heavenly Father, we're so thankful to gather here together and rejoice in the life of Galen Bush, a caregiver, a sister, a wife, a mother, and a mom. Father, at this time, please bless us that we might be comforted by we ask a special blessing to be on my dad, Don. Please bless that we would remember the plan of salvation and the greatness of thy Son. Father, we ask that the people to speak today would be strengthened and feel your love, and bless that we might have serenity, and please bless us that we can have compassion and forgiveness, and please bless that we, after we leave these services today, that we'll be able to travel in safety and get to where we need to go. And we ask thee to give us the strength that we need today, and bless our family. And we ask these blessings in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Galen Ellen Bush, 86, passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by family, on June 1st, 2022. He was born August 20th, 1935, to Morris Lansing Allen and Clea May Passy in Ogden, Utah. She grew up in North Ogden, attended Weber High School. She married Alton Cook in 1951, and they had 4 daughters: Tamara Gay, Christy Lynne, Renee, and Carol Lee. They were later divorced. She met and married Donald C. Bush in 1963. They were married and had 3 children: Brian Don, Kimberly Don, and Bradley J. Gay loved life and definitely loved adventure. Through Don's work, they were able to live in many different states, and they put a lot of miles on their motorcycle as they loved to tour through little towns and go to lunches. After his retirement, they lived in Goshen, Utah for a few years before settling down in Lehi. She had a great sense of humor and a very infectious smile. She is survived by her husband, Don, all of her 25 grandchildren, 42 great-grandchildren, and 10 great-great-grandchildren. She was preceded in death by her parents and 1 grandson.
Jack, can I present ideas on my big family?
He's got it. Okay.
Good year.
musical selection. We're now going to hear a speaker, Renee. Afterwards, we're going to have an open mic to the congregation. Anybody who would like to step up here and kind of give your memories or stories of Galen, more than welcome to do so. We'll go to that point in the program.
First, I'd like to share a little poem with you guys that I think touches every mother's heart. It's called A Mother's Wages. If I would charge 1 cent each time I washed my children's clothes, or tied a shoe, or gave a bath, or wiped a runny nose, or made a bed, or acted as their judge or referee, it would be possible that I could live in luxury. If I were paid a nickel for each diaper that I've pinned, for every Band-Aid I've applied when arms or legs were skinned, for every toy that I've picked up and put back in its niche, there wouldn't be a single doubt why I wouldn't be quite rich. If just 1 dime would be my fee for giving them a pill, for making meals and wiping up the milk they always spilled, for darning scores of tiny socks, for fixing things they break, it wouldn't be too long before the fortune I would make. Although it's true, I don't receive a solitary cent, yet I'm repaid in many ways for all the time I've spent. Their smiles, their love is my reward for this unending care, and I am richer, yes, by far, than any millionaire. I have written a letter to my mother, and I'd like to share with you some of the things that I will always remember. My mom meant the world to me. Mom was one of my best friends, and we talked a lot over the years about death and dying. And you know, some of the conversations were kind of funny. We always wondered about the great mystery of death and what really takes place once we leave this earth. We'd ask each other some things like, well, where do you really think heaven is? What do they do all day up there? Where do they go? Do they sleep? Do they see us? Do they get hungry? Do they miss us? You can hear me and my mom having this conversation. And of course, we always came up with the same thing. It, we knew, would be as beautiful and splendid as I had come to understand through reading about it. It was going to be wonderful. Mom always told me I'm not afraid to die. She had mentioned in previous years how much she had missed her mom and dad and wondered what they were doing. Now she knows her reunion with her mom and dad and other loved ones, it must be incredible. I'm sure it is everything she imagined. There's love, laughter, the excitement of being together again. And with Grandpa and Scott and Dwayne, I can only begin to imagine some of the funny stories they are telling right now. I wish that just for a second I could be there with them and just be part of it. My mom was a great listener, and over the years we would have heart-to-heart talks on the phone for hours and hours. And sometimes I remember calling Mom in the middle of the night. She would always pick up the phone, and she always knew the right words to say to me to comfort my heart. She could always reassure me that things were going to be okay. And after we said goodbye, I didn't feel lonely, I didn't feel sad, and I didn't feel discouraged. She always knew the right things to say. You know, some of the things I will never forget, and some of the things I am going to miss. Mom, I will never forget the year that you spent at Thanksgiving week up at my house. And you wanted to help me decorate the tree and decorate the house for Christmas. And we had so much fun. We tied bows, we got out all different kinds of ornaments. We had a blast. And of course, me and my mom, we laughed and laughed and laughed. And she said, well, we're done with the tree. Can we go to bed? I said, no. Now we have to start cooking for Thanksgiving tomorrow. And I don't know what time we went to bed. It was probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was exhausting. But, you know, that year, that having my mom with me brought magic to my holiday. Thank you, Mom, for that. It meant the world to me. I will never forget that. I will miss your contagious laugh. All of the funny stories we laughed at, but what made it was so great was the way you told it. It was always the very best. It was always so funny. I will miss things we used to love to do. Lunches, of course, shopping. I will miss your mischievous ways. Our talks on the phone. But most of all, I will miss the beautiful mother you were to me. Your journey has been a lot of everything. It's been filled with beautiful children, grandchildren, great and great-great-grandchildren. You have been blessed with joy, love, a thankful heart, and happiness. You've been blessed with a wonderful husband that has adored you, loved you, supported you, taken care of you on every step of your journey. You've experienced good times and bad times, but somehow, Mom, you always managed to smell the roses along the way. By watching you on your incredible journey, I learned love, strength, courage, determination, and thankfulness. You have more love in your heart than all of us put together. Yes, Mom, you will be missed more than words will ever know, more than my words could ever express here today. May you soar through the clouds and never know pain. May you forget sorrow and grief and only enjoy the love, happiness, and eternal life that you have now. May you never forget our love for you. Don't worry about Dad. We've got this. I miss you already. May your slumber be peaceful and beautiful until we meet again. My love and always forever. Amen. I would just, my mom would love if any of you would like to share a moment of happiness, or memories, fun things, mischievous things. And I'll turn that time over to you guys right now. Okay. And then Amy will do her music.
All of you who know my mom know what a character she was. She had more spunk and mischievous ways about her than I could have ever handled myself. She was just so full of life and so full of fun, and I have so many fun memories of my mom growing up, and a lot of funny ones. A lot of ones I probably couldn't share today because she was just too big of a character. But I want to share a few of my favorites. And my kids, Nicole and TJ, both wrote their memories. So I'm going to read those first. And then maybe I'll be brave enough to think of what I'm going to say. Okay, this is Nicole. Grandma. Most of my favorite grandma memories are when they lived in Goshen. I remember her making Bo, their dog, his bread and butter toast every morning and feeding him his oatmeal cookie for snack time. Grandma was always curious what the neighbors were up to, and more specifically their pets and or farm animals. One of the neighbors had a pig, and Grandma would talk to it through the fence And when I say talk, I mean oink. One of the other neighbors had a dog she was convinced was a serial killer because it killed multiple neighbor cats. We would go on walks and walk around Goshen, and around the corner from their home, one of the town residents had a goose, and Grandma and I would hurry by that house faster than the others because she said that goose had a bad reputation for chasing those passing by. We were chased by him on several occasions. Grandma, of course, had a name for him, but the perp's name has unfortunately faded from my memory. We loved to drive around the neighborhood and spy on the town residents. Grandma always knew or had a theory about most of the town folk and what they were up to. I have many small memories of Grandma, like the way her gold trooper smelled like warm vanilla, the way she added a small dash of milk to scrambled eggs and whipped them to make them fluffy, the way she tickled my arm as I fell asleep when I slept over, her putting on her makeup in the mornings. Grandma had the most beautiful skin, and she would receive a compliment almost everywhere she went. Grandma was always a stylish gal. I loved shopping with her and playing dress up with her fancy shoes. She was a spunky, nosy, sweet, witty, and beautiful lady, inside and out, and I will miss her. I hope she's driving a convertible around heaven, spying on the neighbors, on her way to the mall. I hope heaven is ready for you, Gram. She was a character. Grandma just no doubt was a character. Let's see, TJ wrote a memory. He's sick today and couldn't be here, so this is TJ's memory. It says, Grandma was so much fun. My earliest memory is when she would stay with us when they lived out of state. She made an agreement with me that whoever woke up first had to knock on the wall and wake the other one up so we could play. I used to love listening to her sing Little Robin Redbreast, or the startled ooh sound she made when I found her in her hiding spot during hide and seek. We had a competition to see who could learn to whistle first. I won. If I was needing something to do, I could always call Grandma, and she was always down to go bumming or to the movies. She loved people watching on our adventures and always had me laughing at her observations. I will miss the mischievous and fun way she had about her. I have nothing but fun memories with Grandma. Though it's hard to say goodbye, I will always have my memories with her to make me chuckle when I need it. I love you, Grandma. So she was always up to something. For as long as I can remember, Mom always had some sort of little trick up her sleeve or mischief to get into. And one of the stories, can I share your story on the motorcycle? Right. When we lived in Wendover, Brian had this Honda 50. And he begged Mom to go on this Honda 50. She wasn't real sure. Talked her into going by promising, I promise, Mom, I'm not going to go fast. Just hang on, I'll just take you on a little ride. She's like, okay. So she gets on behind Brian on this little teeny Honda 50. So her legs are straight out like this. And he takes off down the road, jumps over a bump, and my mother was just screaming. And I don't think she was impressed too much by the driving skills. But maybe that's where she learned her love of motorcycles. Could have been that ride. She ended up loving motorcycles, never know. But she was a funny lady. We had a lot of fun with her. And another funny memory I had come home from school, and it was her 50th birthday. She was super depressed, and I think it was just the two of us home, and she was standing in the kitchen, and she had her big old dark sunglasses on and was just looking all sorts of upset. And I says, well, what's the matter? And she says, well, Kimmy, I'm 50. I guess I'm old enough, I'm going to have to buy some polyester pants. She's, I guess we'll go shopping. And I said, well, okay, we can go shopping. So she had a favorite store downtown called the Pant Depot in AF. And so of course, we walked down there and went shopping, and she came home with Levi's, not polyester. She couldn't quite bring herself to do the polyester yet. But she was always so full of fun and enjoyed life, and we just had a good time together. And another funny story I have, I'd come home from school and she'd been to the beauty salon. And she had her hair all done nice, and I could tell she'd been, and I said, "Your hair looks nice," and she's like turning her head. "Do you see anything different?" And I said, "No, I can't see anything different." She says, "Well, come a little closer." I said, "Okay." So I got a little closer, and she turns her head, and I see this gooey spot on the back of her head. And I said, "What in the world have you got on your head?" And she said, "Well, the beautician kind of slipped with the razor and balded me." So she had a bald spot about the size of a 50-cent piece, and she was horrified, of course. So she found my dad's shoe polish and had taken his dark brown shoe polish and filled in the bald spot so nobody could see. And I did not see it until I got really close. She did a good job. It was hidden really well with the shoe polish. So every night she had to wash the shoe polish off so it wasn't on her pillow and making a mess. And then she'd re-shoe polish until it came back in. So she just was fun. I just have so many that I can't be. TJ used to call her Grandma Wart. Mom had a little wart under her neck, and whatever Tej said, she took pretty close to heart. And so when he started calling her Grandma Wart for the wart on her neck, that was it. She was done being Grandma Wart. So she had it removed so that he couldn't call her Grandma Wart anymore. So that was pretty funny. But as a kid, I remember calling my mom into my room, and we had just been talking about it at Mom and Dad's house last week, and they said, "Do you remember when I'd call you and have you come tuck me in bed really tight?" And she says, "Yeah," because I'd have her come in and just tuck the covers as tight as she could around me, and if it wasn't tight enough, I'd have her redo it and keep tucking until I felt nice and tight, and she'd sing a song to me, and always willing to do that for me, when I know she probably wasn't wanting to sometimes, but she did it anyway. And I'm gonna miss her so incredibly much. She was my best friend. Caused a lot of trouble, locking herself in bathrooms and me trying to get her out, and she did all sorts of funny little pranks. One other funny little prank I just have to tell. It was when Grandma was in the Olympics and Grandma was carrying the torch. Well, of course, we went to Salt Lake to see, and it was cold, so Mom had kind of layered up her clothes to keep warm, and she had to go to the bathroom. Well, it's just outhouses all lined up there, and so she went in and used the bathroom and came out and opened the doors. We're all standing there, and she had remembered to pull up her pantyhose, and her pants were still down around her ankles. So my dad kind of pushed her back in and said, "Gay!" and shut the door and said, "Pull your pants up. You forgot to pull your pants up." And poor Mom was mortified that she came out with just the pantyhose up. So she was always pulling some sort of funny little trick that is going to keep me laughing forever, and I'm going to miss her. So that's all I can say.
It's so funny that last night, I hope I can read it. I was laughing so hard at writing them up, I could hardly stand it. Mother was many things to many people. I was her oldest, and she used to pull some good ones. She was so funny. My kids, they loved Grandma. They knew her when she lived in American Fork. And Mom's kids, Kim and Brad, and my kids, Tana and Tyson and Troy, were pretty much raised together. And we had so much fun. And as a matter of fact, that Honda story, that was a big one. Both of my boys told that one. One thing she didn't tell was Brian. She promised Brian promised her not to go on the road. And he came screaming down Main Street. I thought she was going to kill him when she stopped. She plopped down on the stairs and Brian took off on the Honda 50 again. That was so it was so funny. She went through a phase where she wanted to eat marshmallow cream. We were baking pies for Thanksgiving, and we were going to make lemon meringue, but we ate all the lemon before we could get to the pot. Went to lunch with Renee and Chris and me and Mom, and we'd been kind of messing around all being silly. Renee says, "Damn, quick, look at that man." I turned around and looked, and I said, "What?" She says, "He's eating." I says, "We're all eating." I turned around, I wasn't eating. She took in my lunch. And Mother thought that was so funny. Mother and I went to give the car, and we thought Renee and Chris were pulling a trick on us because we couldn't find them, like hide and seek kind of thing. So Mom and I got in the car, and Mom drove all the way down the parking lot where they couldn't see us. They came out and they were looking. We let them in, and they said, "Where'd you go?" We went to the bathroom, and I said, "Oh, we thought you were playing hide and seek." She was so funny. And she's right. She was always laughing. Her grandsons both remember watching WWF with her. She was really into it. She was laughing and cheering and booing. Of course, she had Hulk Hogan as her hero. Tyson remembers she used Pearl shampoo. The American four-column with a spiral staircase, and playing pool with her. Mom and I would have a game and it would last all day because neither one of us could get a ball in. She watched MTV with them for the first time. I don't know how the boys felt, but Mother never watched it again. The pig farm. They go out and play by the pig farm, and Mother would just, all she does is always upset with us. That was a long story. Yeah, Brian had a big grin. The boy said, Dad had bought a dune buggy, and they loved to go with Grandpa in the dune buggy, and he'd pile them all in, and Mother would say, "Not too fast, with the kids." And then she'd start screaming, and she kept telling him the kids were afraid, "Slow down." I never saw them fear, they always were laughing. I love Mother. She was such a character. And I'm gonna miss her a lot. I'm glad that my children were able to see her when she was a young grandma. And she was so funny, and they all loved her so much. I miss you a lot, Mom. I'm Tam's middle daughter, and I made my sisters come with me.
Yeah, this was not the plan.
Moral support, you know. I made handmade cards, and I sent lots to Grandma and Grandpa. Maybe you don't want to go first. So this morning, I made a card for Grandma, and I said, "Hey, Grandma, I know you loved my cards, and I love that you did. I figured I would make you one more, and I promise I'll continue to send them to Grandpa. I miss you already, and I'm so sorry you didn't get to meet my grandbabies. But I promise they will hear stories and see pictures. And know how special their great-great-grandma Bush was to all of us. I love you so much. But I did want to say, I don't have a lot of memories when I was little, but as a grown-up, I've tried really hard to spend a lot of time with them, and we loved going to Goshen. And I don't know if it was Grandma or Grandpa's idea, but they always made sure when we were coming that they had marshmallows and grapes and oat milk cookies and red vines and ice cream, whatever we wanted. They always went shopping before we came, and we appreciated that so much. And we loved that. And we did love the Goshen house and all their animals. It was so fun to go out there. And Grandma did know. I remember her talking about a cow, and she's like, when it gets fat, they're gonna kill it. I'm just watching. It's gonna be gone one of these days. But it was pretty funny. I love Grandma so much, and I just wanted to make sure I got up here and said that.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but Grandma was where I got my love of shopping. But Kimmy brought up polyester pants, and so I couldn't not say this story. I was probably in 5th grade, and I got to miss school to go shopping for my birthday. And I wanted these pair of lime green polyester bell bottoms. I don't know why, but I absolutely love them. And she was probably dying on the inside that that's what I wanted to pick, and she tried to talk me out of it so much, and she would be like, "Are you sure that's what you want? That's what you really want?" And I really did. And as much as she hated to do it, she bought them for me, and it was my favorite outfit. It was totally 70s. I had the shirt that had blue and green flowers on it and the chain belt, and I even got green sunglasses that went with it. It was a look, I'm sure. But Grandma she wouldn't have appreciated it, but she would appreciate that I love shopping and all my memories of, and I also had memories of trying on Grandma's shoes. I got her in trouble more than once for telling Grandpa on her own accident that she had bought something new, and I didn't know the rule at that point that you weren't supposed to tell Grandpa that we had gone shopping, because he thought that they were just what she already had in the closet. But that was my probably best memory of Grandma.
Now I'm glad they're up here. So I wrote Grandma a letter, and I thought I would share it with you. So tomorrow, dearest Grandma, tomorrow we are putting you in the earth. I think the news of your death truly broke my heart, for I cannot find the tears to weep for you properly. Like a slideshow, clips of moments with you are playing over and over in my mind. Every one of these memories of you are as precious as jewels to me. These clips make me laugh and smile at the antics of my beautiful, crazy grandma. My childhood was not always picture perfect, but with you and Grandpa near, I always felt safe. Off and on, we talk, and then life would pull us apart, but my love for you never left my heart. You were one of a kind. It's as if you threw out the manual on how to be a proper grandma. Rules be damned. And I love that most about you. But what I most admire about you is your gift of laughter. Generally, a day spent with you left me with sore cheeks and ribs from laughing so hard. You had this wonderment about you, and you'd live each moment to the fullest. Not taking back her laughter to please others. That must be where we all get it from. We never learned to laugh quietly. And I am so grateful we chose one another in heaven. I would not be the same person today without you in my world. The world already seems to shine a little less because you are no longer here. You and I both have regrets. We did not make more of an effort to talk, but I promise I will keep a closer eye on Grandpa for you. Try and not get in too much trouble in heaven, Grandma. I almost sent God this message. God, my grandmother is going up the stairs. This is not a drill. My grandmother is coming. Please give Grandma and Grandpa a hug for me. Love always, Tana. And then I just found this really short poem, but if I should go tomorrow, it would never be goodbye, for I have left my heart with you, so don't you ever cry. The love that's deep within me shall reach you from the stars. You'll feel it from the heavens, and it will heal the scars. But we love you so much, Grandma, that words just can't say it, but she would be so thrilled that you all came out to worship her today. We love you, Grandma.
I didn't really have anything like prepared, but I'm her great granddaughter, Morgan. I remember we would go up to Goshen, and it would always be a lot of fun, so I thought I would talk about that. Like they talked about, she'd always make sure she'd have lots and lots of treats for us. And I remember because it was such a long drive for us, I would always get this giant like jawbreaker. And they usually have them coated in like such a bright color. Usually I'd get the blue one because I thought it would taste better. I didn't know for a long time that didn't actually have a flavor. But I remember by the time we'd get there, my whole face would just be blue. And I remember my mom especially would always be like, Morgan, Tisha, you need to go clean yourself. And Grandma would always be like, honey, you enjoyed it. You're fine. And I always definitely remember that because it would just be such a mess, and it's dye. There's no coming off for a long time. But one thing I definitely remember about going is like they talked about like with the animals and how like she would always go out and talk to the animals or feed the animals. And I think for me, I don't know if that's where I got my love of animals, but like if I see animals like neighbors have them, or my husband used to live in Twilla and they have all kinds of animals everywhere, and I always have this need to go out and feed them or go talk to them. And sometimes I think that's where I got it from. So I just thought I would share that.
I wasn't going to do this, but I feel like I have to. So I was super lucky to marry Brian and to get to know Dawn and Gay. And one thing about Gay, like you've heard, she was funny, so funny and so full of trouble and mischief. It really is. She always just had some little thing, but she'd be whispering about or telling about. And her laugh was the best. It really was. I remember from the first time I met her, she just had the greatest laugh. And I hear that laugh a lot in my daughters. I really do. And so when they have this great laugh, I think that's your Grandma Bush. But one thing I will never forget, we'd been married, for a little while. We had just Tuck and sit down, and they were little, and we were super poor. And Don and Kay at the time were living in Oakland, so just outside San Francisco. And we never traveled or anything and much at all. And anyway, they said, hey, come down and visit, bring the kids. And so we flew down and we went to Oakland, and she took us into San Francisco. And I remember, I still have a special place in my heart for San Francisco. It was like one of the first big cities that I had visited. And I'll never forget, we got there, we had the two kids, and we were just gonna catch a cab or get on the subway, and they had these, I don't remember what they were like those cycles, remember that? The guys that they would pedal you wherever, and it was expensive, and they pull up to us and they say, hey, do you want to ride? And me and Brian are like, gosh, how much is that? And Gay was like, oh, we're on vacation. Money's nothing. And I love that so much. I remember okay, I love this. And we got in there, and the whole time, everything was, hey, we're on vacation. And the funny thing is Don was like, you're not on vacation. You live here. But I always loved that. No matter where they were, and when we were able to go visit them, she was on vacation too. And that, she just taught me a valuable lesson too, just those little moments, just go for it. And I really, really did appreciate it. And her shopping, man, my mom's a really good shopper too. And Gay, I don't know, I'd put him toe to toe. And just her shopping was amazing. And I'll never forget one year, Brian told her, this was maybe 5 years ago, maybe? He said, hey, you know what I'm gonna give you for your birthday? I'm gonna take you to, what was her favorite store? Mom knows, Chico's. Mom loves it too. Take you to Chico's, and I'll buy you whatever you want. Oh my goodness. She was like, she's like, oh, okay, let's go. It's gonna close. And so we head there. Well, they pull up her phone number, because they're like, oh, do you have a phone number? And Don's like, no, they wouldn't have. They put in the phone number. Oh, well, yes. She had, been shopping at Chico's quite a bit. they knew her. Anyway, by the time we were done, we had 5 saleswomen. We had every dressing room, and she was the only one there. And you know what? It was super fun. To watch her in all her glory.
They drug the whole rack.
They drug the racks out. It was unbelievable. It was like, she lost her mind. We closed down the store, but you know what? She really did teach me a lot of good lessons of just, of really living life. And I'm grateful to see that in my daughters, like I say, her laugh and that contagion there, and I'm grateful. Especially the greatest gift that she gave me is my husband Brian, and he is just the best. And I'm thankful for the opportunity I had to spend with her, and I'm just, it's going to be sad, but we love Don, and we will rally around him, and as a family, and it's super special to see this family get together, because, it's hard, everybody lives far away, and it's been complicated, but I think it's a special day, and I say this in Jesus Christ, amen.
This is the funnest funeral I've ever been to. I've been to a lot of them in my 92 years, but I have never been to anything this much fun, and I think this is what we should do. I'll probably be the next one, and this is what I want for my funeral. I just want to show you a picture of our mother. And she is here today, and I know she's here, and this is where Gay got all the fun. Mother was full of fun, and my father too. But you know, I really learned a lot about my sister today. I didn't know she was so much fun, and that she could laugh and have such a joyful life. So I just want to say a few little things about what I remember about her. My sister Gay holds a really close spot in my heart. I mean, when she was really quite ill, over quite a few years, I used to get in touch with her. We talked about every couple of months or so, and she always wanted to know about her sisters and what they were doing and all about the kids, and we would go on and talk, but the last time I talked to her, I knew that maybe it was the last time because she was so quiet. She really didn't feel like talking to me, but I thought to myself, it won't be very long. And what a joyful thing death can be. After you have been through years of suffering like Gay has, I think that, I don't know if she was ready to go, but I will be if I had gone through what she has gone through, a lot. But my sister Lynne, I'm going to read what I've written here. My sister Lynne holds a special place in my heart, for I know that in spite of all the hard things and in spite of all the laughs today, she went through a lot of hard things that she had to face in her life and mistakes that she undoubtedly made. She retained this beautiful, sweet spirit. She had a spirit of love for her children and for her dad and mom and our family. We are a good family, and the Lord loves us, and He wants us to all be together again sometime, and we are going to be. She had a special place in her heart for people. Though she was not a churchgoer, she had a feeling, a deep feeling for the downtrodden, and she had several experiences that I won't relate, but that she had related to me about things that had happened to people that were homeless. She told me about, she loved beautiful things. She always humble but well-kept home is what she had, with special things to adorn just that special spot. And at one time, she and Mother started to collect dolls. And it all started when she and Mother and you, Dawn, were on vacation. Remember those Indian dolls? And that's another story. Gay and Mother and Dawn. When you were this construction superintendent, you remember how happy Gay was to have Mother come to visit after Dad died. And you, Dawn, moved from one state to another with the construction job. And Gay and you would invite Mother to come and visit. And together you guys would go here and there and see all the sights in the new places where you had been transferred to. Oh, Gay and Mother had so much fun. I mean, now that I hear all of you saying how crazy she was, well, I can just see them laughing and giggling together. What a sweet thing. I think that's the best. And they had so much fun, and so did you, Dawn, making sure that they weren't getting lost. He would drop them off someplace at a mall for them to go shopping and say, I'll be back to pick you up at a certain time. But then, where were they when he came to pick them up? I remember them getting lost and him walking around the mall and thinking, what happened? What happened? Anyway, now I just want to read you a little letter that my mother wrote. I have, oh my gosh, I hope I haven't lost the page. I wrote Mother's life story after she passed away, and as I went back through the book the other day, I see Mother had written a letter to all of us on our birthday at a certain time, and at one time she wrote this about Gay. I am thinking of my sweet daughter Gaylyn today, since it is her birthday. She has been such a dear daughter. She was married at 16 and had many trials in her life, but she is such a joy to me. Even as a child, she was quiet and good-natured, and as a grown-up, she has been the most reserved. Doesn't sound like it, but my mother said she was the most reserved. However, she loves to have a good time, and she and I certainly have had that. We have traveled together a lot since her dad died, and she is such a sweet companion, and she is so much fun. Her husband, Don, has been very good to me, and he has made it possible for me to travel, which has brought a lot of joy into my life. I talked to her yesterday on her birthday, and I hope that she knows how much I love her and how much she has brought into my life. She has 7 children, beautiful children, that I love with all my heart, and they have brought me so much joy. I am very close to her daughter, Kim. We are kindred spirits and best friends. How lucky and blessed I am to have my dear daughter, Gaylyn, in my life. And so with that, I'd just like to say that I think this has been a wonderful experience for all of us, that Gaylyn deserves now to go on to a beautiful, peaceful place where she is with my parents, and my dad, he was a character too, and they are telling jokes. But on the other hand, I think that this is kind of a serious time on the other side, where they will all be hugging each other, and there'll be a lot of, so much love that we can't even comprehend it. And I've read about the sunshine, how bright and beautiful it is. What a new experience she is having now. It's the beginning of something really beautiful, not just for her, but for Dawn, who will be joining them. I can't say in the near future, but I know I think that's what he hopes, because he wants to be where she is. And this is going to be a wonderful experience when we all get together up there and we're all hugging each other and saying, we finally made it.
I'm only up here because my dad said if I'd come up, he'd come up, and I really want to hear his story, so. I love my grandma a lot. I didn't get to know her super well, and that's my fault, but I know she's looking down on us right now, waiting for us to join her. I'll never forget going down and visiting Grandpa and Grandma in Goshen, and my story's the same as all of yours. They loved us so much, and they always had treats ready and spoiled us to death. But I always remember going down there with my dad and either going to hang out or help Grandpa fix something. And I remember, I'll never forget this, we were up on his roof, and we were fixing something. I can't remember what it was, but I just thought it was the coolest thing that I got to hang out with Grandpa and my dad and fix something on the roof. And I remember them telling me specifically not to go close to the cables and the power lines connecting to their house. And I remember Grandma was down doing something, but I remember goofing around and walking around and my leg hit one of them, and next thing I know, I'm on the ground and everybody's around me, Grandpa, Grandma, my dad, everybody. And I don't remember a lot about that experience or that day, but I remember Grandma, and I remember her taking me aside and making sure I was okay and telling me that, I don't know why you're hanging out with those ruffians and doing all this stuff. You need to be down here with me where it's safe. But I really remember every time I was with her, she just had a special spirit about her. And it wasn't ever really about Grandma. It was about, what are you doing and how can I help you? And I just want you to know that you're loved. And I definitely know she's up there, and I can't wait to see her eventually someday and catch up with her too. See this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Well, I want to get up and honor my mother. She's a beautiful lady, and she meant a lot to a lot of people. And I was going to tell like one of the funny stories I had, but it was me and Brock, and it was a couple of years ago, and my mom was like super vain, and she always had to have her hair perfect. But even I didn't know that she, like, sometimes she had like a wig, but we got in the Jeep because she wanted me to take her for a Jeep ride in Renee's Jeep, and she's like, I've got to take a Jeep ride. You've got to come over and pick me up. So me and Brock picked her up, and we started driving. Well, her hair started to blow off, and poor Brock's in the back trying to hold it on for Mom. And I'm just dying laughing, so is she. I mean, she was a bucket full of crazy. And, I mean, I could go on and on with like just crazy stories, but like, I love Mom, and I love our family. I feel so grateful to like be able to be around everybody, because I haven't seen anybody for a really long time. And I love you all, and I love you, Mom.
Okay, I have great memories of Mom. Number one, she was my best shopping partner ever. Oh yeah, very good shopping partner. She takes you and tells you, I'll try on the shoes. So I'd never worn stilettos to speak of ever in my life. Heels maybe, but not stilettos. I'd never realized what they were until she said, oh Carrie, go and pick out that cute red pair and stick them on your feet and let's walk. When she said let's walk, it didn't mean me walk, but it did happen. So yeah, the stilettos didn't work out. I fell over. Then we used other shoes that looked like they were backwards shoes, and she had me trying to put them on the right way, and she knew what she was doing exactly. So she was great for shopping. Oh yeah, she taught me the QVC channel. She was definitely full of it. My Brandy girl, they would go down to Grandma and Grandpa's quite often, out onto the porch. And my mom one day came out, Brandy was walking up on the porch, and here comes my mom doing an Indian chant on the porch, just woo, 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 woo. Yes, very loud. Brandy was petrified. Brandy ran down to the end of the fence looking for Papa because Grandma had scared the heck out of her. And so every time we would go over, it was like a new adventure. Brandy would stand there at the bottom of the step before she would walk in to peek around to see if Grandma was going to come out and do the chant. Which, after a few times of Mom seeing what was going on, she would continue to do it. I said, this is brutal. And Mom would just laugh, and Brandy would laugh. There's so many memories with Mom. Right after we moved into Goshen, we'd gone to the Smith's grocery store. She's over there laughing. And I drove and we got in and done the shopping, and all of a sudden I get this thing, if I could come to the service desk. The mom had gone up to the desk and told them that she thought her daughter had been kidnapped. And they said, "How old is your daughter?" And Mom said, "Well, 52. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So yeah, needless to say, so they called me over the speaker, and I come walking up and they said, "Is your mom okay?" And I said, "Yeah." They said, "Well, did you know you'd been kidnapped?" And I said, "Nope." That surprised me. So, I will miss all these shenanigans, and I will miss that little grin on the side, just waiting for her to do something naughty. I'll miss her laugh, I'll miss her smile. But I know that I'll see her again, and we'll move on with all the shenanigans, I'm sure. I love you, Mom.
Those are great stories, great memories. I appreciate everybody getting up and sharing those with everybody. We're going to proceed with the program and have a musical number by Amy Bush. I will then make a few remarks afterwards, and we'll go to that point in the program.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The Lord has promised good to me, His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Yeah, when this flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life shall cease, I shall possess within the veil of life a joy and peace.
Amy, thank you for that. That was beautiful. There's a poem that I want to share with you. Kind of has a depiction of kind of my thoughts transitioning from this life to the next. This poem is written by Henry Van Dyke, and it's titled "Gone From My Sight." I'm standing upon the seashore, a ship at my side, spreads her white sails to the moving breeze and starts for the blue ocean. She's an object of beauty and strength. I stand and watch her until at length she hangs like a speckled white cloud, just where the sea and sky come to mingle with each other. Then someone says at my side, "There, she is gone." Gone where? Gone from my sight, that is all. She is just as large in mass, whole and spar, as she was when she left my side. And she is just as able to bear her load of living freight to her destined port. Her diminished size is in me, not in her. And just at that moment when someone says, "There, she is gone," there are other eyes watching her coming, and other voices ready to take up the glad shout, "Here she comes." And I can't help but to think of just the joyous reunion that Galen is having right now with friends and other family members that have passed on before her. But Dawn, I'm grateful, I'm honored to be a part of the funeral services today for your sweet wife. I thank you for your trust in us taking care of her. We're going to conclude the funeral services today with a closing prayer that will be given by Sean Steele. Thank you.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful that we've been able to gather here together today as friends and family to celebrate the life of Lynne Allen Bush, and we're thankful for the life that she lived and for the memories and joys that she brought to life, and pray that now as we go our separate ways that Thy Spirit may be with us, that we can be comforted, and especially Grandpa Don, that he can feel of Thy love and that he can continue to feel close to his wife. Pray that we can continue to remember the good in the life that Grandma lived and gave, and we love Thee and say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
The interment will be at the Lehigh City Cemetery. The pallbearers are listed as T.J. Lawrence, Brody Bush, Heston Healy, Matthew Smith, Tucker Bush, and Sean Steele. The honorary casket bearers are Brian Bush, Dr. Robert Rayburn, Dave Morrill, Brad Lawrence, Mark Steele, Patrick Hogg, Bradley Bush, Matt Perlett, and Brock Bush. Those of you acting as our casket bearers, if you could step up to the front of the room just off to the side here by the double doors. If we could have the congregation please stand.